Hey everyone, Dr. Adam here again with the second half of our video. And I wanted to talk about another free resource that you have online here. This is a website called MyFitnessPal. And as we talked about in the last video, when you're trying to figure out exactly, how much food you're actually eating in a day, you start with the, calculating something like your basal metabolic rate, or the total daily expenditure according to your activities, and that's going to give you, about how many calories you should be shooting for. Now with MyFitnessPal, this will actually help you track the individual calories as far as the specific macronutrients, like how much proteins, carbohydrates, fat, all those types of things, and it can help you calculate the totals for each day. Now, as I said, this is a free resource. You can go on here to this website and create a free account, and it's pretty simple to use. And once again, just for this video, I'm going to go over just kind of the bare minimum, just to kind of give you an idea of what it's capable of. But it's very, very helpful if you really are, whether, as I mentioned in the other video, whether you think you might be under eating and it's affecting your energy levels, or, if you really are trying to lose the weight and, cut back on certain things, this is just another tool to help you figure out whether or not you were under eating or whether or not you were overeating. So once again, a very, very helpful tool. So this is just kind of the main page. So if we come up here, and of course, like I said, this is very simple to use after you've created an account. But the most simple thing to try for, and this is what I recommend everybody do, even if you just did it for a few days or a week. But once you've created an account, you go up to the food tab, and it gives you the options. And of course, so this would be, if I was going to fill this out today, this is Tuesday, June 9th, and of course, there's all different kinds of settings that you can set it as. These are kind of the basic settings, but it gives you the options for your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And what is the coolest thing about this is when you go to your breakfast and say, let's say you wanna track, because this is all about tracking what you're eating and how much. So you come up here and you go to Add Food, and right in here you're going to have a search option. And of course down here, if we look down here, and of course this is all it keeps track of things that I've eaten in the past as well, as far as maybe common things or things that you eat quite often. But let's just say that I was going to have some oatmeal for breakfast. So if I go in here and I type oatmeal, press enter, it's going to give me, and this is the whole point, it's going to give you probably pretty much every brand of oatmeal you can think of. So let's say I have some Quaker's oatmeal, and then over here it'll pop up and it'll say, how much. And this is where you have to kind of gauge, or sometimes it's helpful to measure your food, but a lot of times you can just kind of go by the servings and kind of eyeing your food to see exactly how much you're eating. So let's just say I ate this three-fourths of a cup, and we're going to add this to the food diary. And when we go back, so right here you see the Quaker's oatmeal, and then it's given me how many calories it was, how many carbs, fat, protein, sodium, and sugar. So if we come here and let's say I have some turkey sausage to go along with it, and this it'll give you kind of generic labels as well as if you come down here, it'll actually give you specific brands as well. And I've been playing with this for a couple of years now, and you can pretty much find almost any brand you can think of is going to be in here as a list. But once again, let's just keep it simple, and we'll say a generic amount of about 100 grams. Add that in, and then it adds that in, And so that already gives you the total calories just for the breakfast. And down here at the bottom, depending on your goals, and of course with MyFitnessPal, you can set your goals to specific amounts. Once again, depending on where you're at, what you're trying to attain, whether it's the increase the energy or the fat loss or whatever it might be. But you can play around, and there's different settings to where you can set the amount of calories you're shooting for, the amount of protein, the amount of carbohydrates. Um, and once again, this is just a very, very simple way to keep up with everything that you're putting in your body. So it gives you an idea about, once again, the calorie intake as well as the macronutrient intake according to your goals. So once again, it's a very, very simple tool to use. There's lots of helpful. There's a community on here. There's blogs. There's forums. So there's definitely a lot of good information on this website. I highly recommend it. And of course, it's free. It's pretty simple to use. But typically, you can go throughout the day, and that's typically what I recommend people to do. Is even if you only do it for a week, or 3 or 4 days. But take a few minutes each day and calculate what all did you have today, or as you go along, what all have you had today, just to give you an idea of what exactly your intake is. And the first few times I did it, as I mentioned before, I was shocked because I was way under eating. I was eating way less than I thought it was, and at the time, I was working out, 5 to 6 days a week, and wondering why, there were times where I was tired, and there were times when, I wasn't reaching my goals in my workouts, and most of those times it was because I was under eating, and I wasn't able to produce the energy that I needed to both function, both just outside of the gym and inside of the gym. So once again, I highly recommend, even if you just did it for a few days or a week, just to kind of gauge, how much food you're actually eating. And that way you can know whether or not you need to make a few changes as far as the lifestyle changes, as far as how much you're eating to have a better effect either on, once again, you trying to produce more energy, or, once again, if weight loss is a goal, then you can certainly use this tool for that as well. Once again, I will have a link to MyFitnessPal in this video with the YouTube, and as well as in the emails we're going to send out with this video. But of course, if you have questions about it, if you need any help trying to figure out the different settings, just come and grab me in the office or give me a call. I'd be happy to help you out. Once again, a very simple tool. I highly recommend you just to gauge kind of where you're at with your energy intake and food intake. Once again, if you have questions or concerns, just give me a shout at the office, and I hope everybody has a great week.